ang tatay kong Jeprox, Dead Rocks! Malambot ang puso ngunit matibay ang paninindigan, sandatay musika at makabagong kaisipan, tungo sa pagbabago at kapayapaan. Filipino ethnicity with a global identity. Ang tatay kong Jeprox, Dead Rocks! Magandang tanghali po! Mga tagapakinig ng Kakampi Radio Online, September 19 edition ng ang tatay kong Jeprox, Dead Rocks. At ngayon ang kulay ng ating programa ay ang kulay ng katatayan. Fatherhood. Yun ang ating tema ngayong araw na to. Pero bago ang lahat, nais kong batiin muna ang ating mga gracious hosts dito sa Kakampi Radio Online. Of course, si Miss Fe Nicodemus at ang kanyang mga kasamang sina Tita Corinne, Esther at Riza, ang ating techie na siyang nagpapatakbo ng webcasts o podcasts natin araw-araw, no? 5 days a week. So ngayon, bago tayo pumunta sa ating paksa ngayong araw na to, aalayan ko kayo personally ng isang tugtugin, no? Ito yung hindi nyo na itatanong ang inyong tatay na Jeprox wannabe gitarista din, rockistang gitarista. Sabi nga noon, yung panahon ng Jeprox, ang tawag namin sa gitara tagirets. At narito po ang aking cover version ng isang love song o rock love song ng aking guitar guru, ang aking hinahangaang hari ng gitara na si Joe Satriani. Ang pamagat nito ay Always With Me, Always With You. Tatay's Tips. Kapaki-pakinabang na impormasyon o bagong kaalaman na maaari nating magamit sa ating buhay at kabuhayan bilang mga tatay na Jeprox. Tatay's Tips.
The forms that fatherhood take are not universal and unchanging, but rather dynamic and interactive. and need to be understood in context and over time. Fathers provide for and are involved with their children and families in different ways, and there are cultural, social, and individual differences in respect of how fatherhood is defined and expressed. Fatherhood occurs in the context of intimate social relationships in which men may play a significant role in parenting, including of children who are not biologically their own. Different men, including grandfathers, uncles, stepfathers, foster fathers, older brothers, cousins, and other men, may perform various fatherhood functions in relation to a child, and these men, singly or collectively, may be the child's primary source of male support. While having a child might represent evidence of masculinity for men, in most parts of the world a man becomes a father, and is treated with the respect attached to the role when he takes responsibility for his family and becomes a model of appropriate behavior for young children. Fathers around the world have the most direct effect by virtue of the fact that they tend to contribute the major proportion of families' financial resources, and it is true almost universally that two-parent households where fathers are present are economically better off than single-mother households. Children in father-absent families have been estimated to be many times more likely to be poor than children in married couple households. In addition to money, men usually have access to other community resources which may not be available to women, including mutual support and influence. In many parts of the world, a father who acknowledges and supports his children confers social value on them, enabling them thereby to become members of a wider circle of family and kin. Men also provide a household with protection which includes shielding women and children from potential exploitation and abuse by other men. Men also have indirect effects on children through their relationships with mothers. Women who live with supportive partners report being less stressed, including about child care issues, and fathers may lessen women's workload by assisting with household and caregiving responsibilities. Importantly, on the other hand, men not only contribute to women's well-being and happiness, but in several studies have also been found to buffer children against neglectful or harsh parenting by a distant, demoralized, or overburdened mother. Within the first 3 months of life, babies differentiate their fathers from their mothers in terms of smell, voice, and handling, and by the end of the first year, children show a strong attachment to fathers, one that is separate from their attachment to their mothers. In this regard, babies express a discernible recognition of their father, respond to their father's emotional cues regarding the safety of their surroundings or the threat posed by those surrounding or other people, and as they do with their mothers, turn to their fathers for comfort. Throughout their development, children convey the importance of their fathers in their lives and seek their company and approval. In general, the evidence is weighed in the direction of men's having an impact on young children indirectly through their effort on women and the extent of parenting and family identity rather than directly. However, there is a shift to increase direct impacts on educational achievement, adjustment, and health as children move into late childhood and their teens. A father influences child and adolescent outcomes in the same way as does a mother, by their degree of emotional support, security, and encouragement that he provides. Conversely, father absence or disengagement is associated with a wide range of adverse effects on children. Regardless of the mechanisms of the effects a father produces, His presence or involvement is associated with a number of benefits for children, both in the short term and over time. For example, holding other factors constant, preschool children who experience sensitive and responsive fathering have been found to perform better on cognitive and language tests than those with less responsive fathers. Early cognitive achievements is of course related to school outcomes, but it is precisely those children whose fathers are involved in their schooling and encourage academic achievement, regardless of the father's own level of schooling, who remain in school longer and have better educational outcomes than peers with less involved fathers. Similar benefits of father engagement are manifest in children's social-emotional development and adjustment. Involved fathering has been found to be associated with a number of positive child characteristics, such as increased empathy, self-esteem, and social competence. Importantly, fathers' involvement in the lives of their children appears to enhance children's sense of happiness and gratification, as well as increase their community involvement. Similarly, lower rates of problem behaviors in childhood, including hyperactivity, anxiety, and depression, as well as lower rates of delinquent behavior, especially among boys, are reported among samples of children with involved fathers. Many of the benefits confirmed by engaged fathers are reported even when fathers are not resident in the same household with their children, but are nevertheless engaged with them through the provision of support and contact. Effects of the father vary to some extent by gender of the child. The father-child relationship proved to be of greater significance than the mother-child relationship in predicting psychological distress among sons. Similarly, father absence or lack of contact with father appears to have its most dramatic effect on male children, particularly as regarding boys' behavioral control, social competence, and school success. It has been suggested that father availability and engagement have a modulating effect on boys' aggression by providing a model of culturally appropriate male behavior, and that boys in father-absent families tend to engage in what may be perceived as exaggerated demonstrations of masculinity in the areas of control and belligerence. Among girls, father presence shows a strong relationship with higher self-esteem, lower levels of sexual risk behaviors, and fewer difficulties in forming and maintaining romantic relationships. Girls reared in single-mother homes are more likely to engage in sexual activity at a young age, have an early pregnancy, a birth outside of marriage, an early marriage, or divorce. However, the debate continues on whether the benefits that fathers confer on children and the disadvantages arising from their absence are due to economic factors, on whether those benefits differ from the contributions made by mothers, and on the way in which they are amplified by co-residents. However, the debate continues on whether the benefits that fathers confer on children and the disadvantages arising from their absence are due to economic factors, on whether those benefits differ from the contributions made by mothers, and on the way in which they are amplified by co-residents. The contribution males can and should make to their children's development is precisely the same contribution that females make to their children's development, which is the ongoing care and nurturing of a human life. This means that the mechanisms through which parenting affects children are the same for men and women, but that the gender and power-related differences between men and women may account for the fact that male involvement is the source of unique inputs and benefits for children.